The S&P 500 hit a brand new high on Friday, $712.39, but it's time for a massive market correction, a massive U-turn going to be happening this week. We're going to go all the way back down. Now, before I explain the technical and analysis from the stock market over here, please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. With that said, let's jump in. Fresh printed news came out today. Iranian military, due to U.S. violation of commitment, Iran has regained control of the Strait of Hormuz, which means, according to Indian media reports on the 18th, an Iranian military spokesperson stated that due to the United States' repeated violation of commitment, controls of the Strait of Hormuz has been returned to its previous state, and the strait is currently under the strict management and control of the Iranian armed forces. What does this mean for the U.S. economy and for the market? Let's first backtrack on Friday. This was Friday's close markets. The Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, and the S&P 500 futures, they all closed above 1%. Dow Jones 1.84, Nasdaq 1.33, S&P 1.23% gain all the way up. The reason was very simple, because the Strait of Hormuz reopened and everything was opened back for the public without paying any tolls. So ships were able to go through the past 24 hours. But now today on Saturday, news comes out saying that, wait, the Strait of Hormuz is going to be closed again. The Iranians took full control, according to the Indian reports. What does this mean for our market? At the same time, Tesla, closed at 3.01% gain. And now the highest was 409 and it closed at 401, which is actually pretty ridiculous looking back at what we had this week. Let's look at the daily charts over here. Look at this. We had a 7% gain in one day. That was on Wednesday's market. This is Thursday's market was red, but then Friday regaining and climbing even higher, closing at $400.62 right over here. This is ridiculous. And don't forget, the reason why I'm bringing up Tesla is because Tesla's having earnings this week on the 22nd post earnings. I came out with another video about Tesla, about earnings, so please don't forget to check that out. It's very important if you're holding Tesla stock, breaking down the exact financials according to what's going on in the Tesla company. Now let's go back to SPY, break down what our goals are for this week. So now the highest was 712.39, but let's not forget, let's count the days of the green days that we had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 green, wasn't straight because we had 2 red days. So we put it together, it's going to be 14, including those 2 red days. So now we have 14 days where we gained all the way up. We're going from about $637 all the way up to $712.39. The last time that happened was in 2008, right before we had the massive market correction. Now we already entered into market correction territory right over here, this bubble right over here, where the Dow Jones went down with over 1,000 points in one day, and that was when everybody's like, hey, we're a market correction. But a market correction is not a market crash. That's the difference where people get mixed up. There's a market correction and then there's a market crash. Now we're going to get into a market crash. We entered into market correction. That was the first step where it's the technical indicators telling us that, hey, we're going to be entering into a massive market crash, and this is where we reached 712, where we regained within 14 days, which is almost never happened in history, and history repeats. Every single time it happened, we always had a massive crash. Now this crash that we're looking at, so if we create a double top, let's say, so we're going to make a trend line going all the way, let's restart it. If we make a trend line, we're going to go from here all the way down, reaching about 481. That's one goal, one target. Once we reach 481, we'll see from there. But it's very, very, very possible case scenario where we're going to be making a double top. So here you have one loop, then up, and then we're going to have 2 loops down. Now it's not going to be like this, or how I made it. It's going to be like more like a roundy style, like over here. So we're going to be it all depends also on the political news that's going on. And don't forget, we're getting a new Fed chairman Kevin Warsh coming in this week as well. So we have to see if he's going to be cutting rates or not. He wants to cut rates, which is another thing why we should be really scared of what's going to happen in the financial markets. So we really have to put everything together, close it up together, and now let's break down the key levels for this week. This is the 1-minute chart from the SPY that we had on Friday. First, let's break down the key levels. So we had first over here, a nice double bottom. We had one over here, a loop over here, and then the second loop, this is a double bottom, right? Twice hitting the floor, and then we climbed all the way up to about 711.33, and we can make a trend line, and it was perfect trades right over here, all the way up until we hit past the line over here. This was our confirmation that we're going to be going down, but instead of going down, we went even more up. So over here was like pretty much we didn't take any trades because you can't place any trades over here. Now going over here, we had quite a nice double top over here. It's pretty small, but it was a pretty big drop. We have 1 over here and then 2. So let's see over here. We have 1 over here, and then the second one right over here, and this is where we came all the way down, and then we hit another floor down, and that's where we went even more chopping here. So it was a pretty hard day to trade on Friday. Very, very, very hard day. This was also supposed to be a double top, but in the end, we went back up over here. So it was very, very tricky. So a lot of people did lose money that I know playing options here. So I hope you guys didn't lose too much if you try to play options on Friday, because it was a pretty weird day. The volatility was also very low. Implied volatility was low. The VIX is low. The VIX is back down. Let's go to the VIX. The problem with the VIX is that we're going to be going back up due to the negative news that just came out. I mean, the VIX it closed at 17.48. Now the VIX is going to be heading all the way back up above 20, and then we'll take it from there. I mean, we'll see. Kevin Warsh is hearing on April 21st. We're going to find out if he's going to be being the next Fed chairman, which he probably will be, and it's going to be pretty bad for the market because Trump wants him to cut rates. And if you look at the whole economy, it makes no sense to cut rates right now. So we'll have to see how the market balances through there. That's number one. And then the second news, where the Strait of Hormuz was taken over again by the Iranians. They have full control, and now they're controlling it again. So we have to find out if we're going to be having massive war this week or not, because the deadline is actually on the 21st as well, where Trump gave the 2-week deadline, and that's where everybody was ignoring it, because looking at the S&P, where I have a pretty strong rebound, but again, they still have a deadline by 8 p.m. to make a deal. What's happening here? If there's no deal closing and they take over the market, the Strait of Hormuz again, then we're going all the way down back to 629, and then once we reach 629, we'll be heading all the way down to 481. So I hope this video was pretty interesting for you guys. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe again. Thank you for supporting me. If you have any questions, you want to learn anything in the market, just comment below, let me know. And thank you so much. Have a good one.